That's enough. This gets old.
Yes, it is. And you have been most faithful about this.
This building was all black, all comedy, he said, no, they have electricity out here. Okay, everybody please stand, we'll say a pledge and a prayer.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Dear Lord God, bless those who serve and protect us. Watch over us as we make decisions for our county. In His precious name we pray. Amen.
Approval of the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to include the town of Hardensburg settlement agreement. Then I'll make a motion to do that.
Second. I've made the motion. Only second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Public comment. I didn't make a statement here.
If anybody would like to speak on added agenda items, they may indicate their desire to speak after the first three that I've already signed up.
Does anybody want to speak?
I'll add my name to the list to speak after the normal thing I've already signed up for to speak.
Sorry. Okay.
We'll just go ahead and order with Lucy Brenton,
Yeah. Okay.
Ken Lockhart,
Oh, somebody else raised their hand. Hang over here, did.
I did, Senior Citizen.
Okay. Has it, or any? And I have one more hand out there. Name?
Stephen Coots.
Stephen? Okay. Lucy,
Yeah, you got
you want
one.
to come forward, please?
Bill. I think you still got people signing up.
Denise Goods? Okay. You're on the
Anybody else?
agenda.
Okay. Oh, yeah, so this is for my regular agenda item? Or is this for the Hardensburg? Yep. Was there anybody else before I get up and speak that wanted to sign up for the to speak for Hardensburg and open comments? My name is Lucy Breton. I'm with 8905 US Highway 150 West in Hardensburg, Indiana, for the record. And I'm coming to speak about county business, specifically again about the Planning and Zoning Commission. And I just want to make it known that there are 18 low-impact home occupations, and I'm endeavoring to make sure that I'm grandfathered in by operating a business in each of these. As an example, just last week I cut a man's hair in my home, and I provided a therapeutic massage to another person. I have not yet done auto vehicle sales, well, I service my own vehicles, so I guess that could be. Freight and trucking, heavy manufacturing, landscaping, nursery, all already done throughout restaurants, so I guess I cook for my family all the time. The point I'm trying to make is that these occupations are something that people engage in about their normal day-to-day business, and yet you seek to restrict these in the new Planning and Zoning Commission. We are not fooled by the shiny object that you hold before us in the subdivisions, chapter 13. We know that you're trying to use that as the camel's nose under the tent in order to get people to accept the rest of the document. A la Nancy Pelosi, you gotta pass it to see what's in it. So what I would like to do is what I do in my own home, and where this says houses of worship, I want to make this a house of worship. I'm bringing this matter before God. Let us pray. Dear Father, Yeshua, we ask for your presence in this meeting, and we want to bring your holy presence in here. Lord, there's a lot of evil things that are going on, a lot of control, and I just want to recognize that you are the ultimate authority and dominion over not just this Lord, but against the head of this world as well. Lord, you brought us to this point in history where our forefathers have fought for the liberty that's being taken from us. Lord, there are people making blood oaths and compacts in secret places, and they think that you don't know. But Lord, you promised that your word would not go out and come back void, but that every word that you uttered would be profitable. And so, Lord, we ask for your blessings even upon our enemies. We ask that we be given a heart of forgiveness and love towards our enemies, that we might eventually be able to work together, and that those who seek to put us in bondage, whether that be economic or control, Lord, that you would break and sever those bonds and show that you are God. Lord, we come to you with love and meek adoration. And again, we ask for forgiveness. We ask for compassion towards our enemies. Lord, you promised that you would save us and protect us from them. So Lord, I ask for your guiding hand upon this meeting, upon the lives of all who love you. Amen.
Who was next?
Thank you.
Amy Cole?
Most of what I was gonna say about Hardenberg, you were gonna take care of with your amendment, so I really don't have much to say about that, but I did have a question I wanted to ask for both Phil and Todd, since I already know Tony's opinion on it. Is there any way we can amend the noise ordinance for the county and make it more comprehensive? If we have someone write it up to where it's more of a structured noise ordinance?
We can talk about that after the meeting or something. I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Probably not the time and place to do it in an open meeting, but yeah, I'd be happy to listen to any suggestions you have. It can be altered.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure before I go into trying to get the wording or written up or researching other counties and things like that, to get it more comprehensive.
You got a copy of it?
No, not yet. That's the issue, is it's very vague and it's very nondescript. It's more
As
than,
an attorney wrote.
yeah,
Supposed to be.
yeah. So, just more enforceable is what I'm looking for. That's all I got. Thank you.
Oh, let's try. Everybody raise their hands one at a time here. Colin Snow, I'm sorry.
Snow, 321 Sangamon Street, Suite 925, Chicago, Illinois. Thank you for your time. I know it's just your last meeting, so I appreciate your patience for listening to me again. The reason I'm here is that, I'm a representative of a project we're exploring, a solar, utility scale solar project in Washington County. Last time we discussed, this body passed a moratorium, and since that time, actually like days later, we found out about basically a new payment that we'd have to make this year. That's extremely significant and puts the whole project at risk. The reason I bring that up to this body is that if we were able to, work with the county and get an ordinance, a common sense ordinance that worked for solar on the books sooner rather than later, that would give us more assurance that we could make that payment and kind of stick to our original schedule of, construction and investing into this county. The $200 million, estimated $200 million investment in this county. And so, on behalf of the company, but also on behalf of our landowners, who partnered with us and see this as a great, this project as a benefit. I just wanted to come and ask this body, to work with us to put an ordinance, a common sense ordinance, meets a lot of the, Ms. Baird's concerns that she brought up last time, on the books as soon as possible. Maybe put the cart before the horse. I know Planning Commission probably has to handle this first, but we'll be at the next Planning Commission meeting. But I just want to bring it to this body as well. I'll pause there and yeah, thank you so much.
Stephen Coots. I feel the same way. It's a rain.
My wife told me to be careful what I say.
How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah. You ought to be able to say what you want to say.
With an excuse now. I'm 74.
It gets worse.
It does, it does. I feel like I've gone back in time. I'm gonna try to keep this short this morning.
That's fine.
I understand that you fellows today are going to rescind the action that dissolved the town of Martinsburg. And as you well know, I disagree with that. A lot of effort, a lot of investigation, a lot of time went into the decision that was made. I'm ad-libbing this, so I'm probably going to ramble at you a little bit. The meeting that was held at the ballpark in Martinsburg, Jay Michael called the meeting. At that time, approximately 75% of the people in attendance wanted to see the town dissolved and the de facto town board eliminated. The town was being governed by an illegitimate group. The State Board of Government and Finance had even decided they were going to cut the funding to the town because the town governing body was not a legitimate government structure. The people in the town wanted the town dissolved because they wanted lower taxation, better services. There was a third one, now I forgot it. Anyway, we have lower taxes. We now have the roads being taken care of by the county. Snow removal is excellent. The right-of-ways are mowed. If a tree goes down in a storm, they're immediately down there to take care of it. The services are great. Governing body was the third one. Very important. We are now being governed by you gentlemen. And I would hope that you, in your opinion, would think you're doing a good job, which in Hardensburg feel like you're doing a good job. To wrap up my comments, I'm asking you today not to take action, not to rescind what has been done. Table your action, because I don't know, and I don't believe, and I address this to you and you, because you two carry the majority vote here. I don't believe anyone at this point knows whether the voting registered voters within the town limits of the unincorporated town of Hardensburg do or do not want to be reincorporated. I don't think you can give me numbers, percentages of the people who go on either side. I live there and I don't know. I see the people, and I don't know, I'm not a computer guy, but anymore, all you have to do is have a TikTok account and a big mouth, and you're an expert on everybody else's desires. And I don't go with that. Again, I'm asking you to, because you have the vote, to table any action today until it can be established what the true wishes of the people in the town of Hardensburg are. And a way to do that would be a referendum on the next election ballot. Do you or do you not want Hardensburg reincorporated? Or if you want to go to the expense and trouble, hold a little special election, mail out postcards that can be returned. But again, and I'm rolling the same ball, before you take action today, and the hardest thing to do is convince somebody to change their mind after their mind's already made up. But please, table this action today until you can determine the will of the people in Hardensburg. It's a representative government. Do not take executive action today. Let it be determined by some sort of a vote by the people that it affects. Questions, comments? Please leave. I'm sorry?
I said you're welcome here anytime.
Thank you.
We heard so much from Tony that said that the town of Hardensburg wanted to be reinstated. That's all we've heard.
Okay. I will make one comment. Probably make more than that. But as we go on, I'll make this comment. I have never spoken to Mr. Cardwell, never heard from him. My support in his campaign was neither solicited nor I believe desired. And quite frankly, I don't consider him my representative. So for him to tell you what the people in the town of Hardensburg want or desire, in my opinion, Mr. Cardwell represents a very limited, self-serving constituency. And again, I ask you to canvass the entire voting population of the unincorporated town of Hardensburg before you make this decision. If you don't, then you two, as commissioners of Washington County, which I am now represented by Washington County, I am not represented by the town of Hardensburg because it doesn't exist. And if you take this action today, you are not properly representing me or the people in the town that agree with me. Table your action until further investigation, please. Thank you.
Somebody else over here had their hand up.
mention Stephen Coots. I did not give him his words. We discussed this heartily. But I will completely second everything that he said. To take an action against something that has not been thoroughly investigated by the people that are represented. It's a representative government. The control is local because a town, and it will always be a town, but the representation has changed. I don't think that's considered legal constitutionally. That's an opinion, but I can substantiate it with some of the documentation that I have, which I'm not going to bore anyone with now because you probably already know those statutes. But the fact that the whole thing has been a mess from day one, this does not fix anything. It actually makes it more confusing. And that in itself should not be allowed. What Stephen said is this needs to be tabled until the people of the town of Hardinsburg are asked what they want. The outside influence has become arduous and has nothing to do with opinion. It should be a governance, a legal governance by a representative government. And this action today, to me, does not give us that. Thank you.
How are you this morning?
Oh, all right. I'm Pamela Card, and I'm with the Hardinsburg Senior Citizens. What is this gonna do for the senior citizens? The town of Hardinsburg never done nothing for us. We paid for everything and they owned it. Is it gonna go back that way? If they actually stole it from us, they never turned it over like they were supposed to 5 years after the grant was paid? So are we gonna go back in limbo that we don't own the building, but we're gonna have to cover everything again? When it's not right, it's not our building?
That's it, I can't answer right now. Like I said, Mr. Cardwell, I understood, had said that people of Hardinsburg wanted it back. That's all I've heard.
I don't know.
Here.
The majority of it does.
I don't live in the town, I'm just in the senior citizens, I'm the treasurer. I pretty well rent the building when it needs to be rented. And like I said, we already paid for one mowing and then they started mowing. But if the town ain't gonna support us and they're gonna just keep all the money like they did the last time, that's not right. They either need to step up and do it or give it to us like it's supposed to be given to us 20-something years ago. And all the paperwork I got says if we shut down, it's supposed to go back to the Hardinsburg Christian Church because they're the one donated the land. And they get everything, the building, all our money and everything. So the town, that's what's worried me, if the town ain't no better than it was the last time, we're basically up a creek without a paddle.
Did y'all function before?
Yeah, but that's not the point. We thought we owned the building. We kept insurance on it and everything that we weren't supposed to be doing. I mean, they never gave us a dime for nothing. If it's their building, I think they need to help take care of it.
Are you in complete control over it?
As far as I know,
Okay.
have been for years. We just found out right before the town went down that we didn't own it. All the other older members thought they did. So that's my point is, have they even, I mean, how can you turn it back to the town when they ain't no board members yet? I don't know, I don't understand.
Legally, I don't know how much I can speak upon all that, but there's stuff in play to take care of all that.
But they can't be appointed, they need to be elected, right? Ain't that what the whole thing started the last
Like I
time?
said, I don't know legally what I can speak about, but there is stuff in play to take care of that. for now and in the future.
So has the Hardenburg passed, dropped the lawsuit?
Cannot speak on all that.
Well, your name was on it, you should, or
Well-
something. And I'm probably gonna kick you off, and I can't help that, just.
No, you're
right
fine,
there.
man. I've been listening to you for 3 years now, and we're neighbors, it's fine.
And he can testify, I didn't support him because I had other people sign him paperwork.
I had no ill will for you on that, everybody's got their own opinion, so. Actually, every time you called me, you asked me to stop and see you, I've done it.
Yes, you have.
Took care of your stuff when you asked, I know there's a slight delay because I wanted to verify on the grass mowing, how that to get taken care of, and it's been taken care of, I've done everything you asked.
But that's what I'm saying, we need to figure out something about the seniors. That's,
I believe you're sweating over nothing on that, to be honest.
we'll see.
No, nobody wants to see you guys go away, trust me. You guys do a good service for the community, and I feel that's something that will
And half
continue.
these people that
And we
say
appreciate what
stuff
you do.
haven't even been down there, they don't support us, they ain't never been down there to nothing.
I plan on coming to the next one, so, yeah.
So, now that, we had, one lady had a hip replacement, I had another knee replacement on my knee, on the same knee. We haven't been able to have our meals in the afternoon, but a lot of times, when somebody comes, a few people I know can't afford, I just tell them where to meet. I mean, we don't, I know one guy come, he's having trouble, and I told him not to charge him for breakfast. I mean, if they wanna know what's going on, they need to come down and see what we do on Saturday mornings. And every other time. We donated to the, food pantry, and we got a meeting today, I'm gonna see if they'll help me, start donating to the homeless place up here. I bring the bill up there every month for them, I'll see if they're gonna help donate to me and stuff. So we do things for the community, it's just people don't know what we do, and then they wanna run their mouth. I'm done.
Thank you.
Yes, I can speak because it's currently in the county, even though I don't live within the town of
Who your
Hardinsburg.
mic on?
Sorry. Yeah, April's right, I don't currently live within the town limits of Hardinsburg, but this does affect me because it affects everybody in the county right now, until you pass something.
About where you reside.
Oh, okay, well, I have dog ears, so that's what I thought I heard. So again, my name is Lucy Brenton, and this gentleman and lady just got up and claimed that 75% of people wanted the town of Hardinsburg dissolved and approved of what had happened before. But every single person that I've talked to is absolutely incensed and feels like it's a power grab that the county came in, took the money from Hardinsburg, and took the land from Hardinsburg. In fact, regardless of any of this, the rescission was the right thing to do because the Attorney General Todd Rokita, in case you folks didn't know, wrote an opinion letter on this. He said that the town of Hardinsburg was created by an act of legislature, and therefore it was unique, having followed that statute, and therefore must only and can only be dissolved by an act of legislature.
That's not true.
Well, that's what Todd Rokita said, that's not what I said. But the rescission is legal, and I think that the thing that is most obvious here is that there should be a vote taken of the town of Hardinsburg's residents. Regardless, it's gotta be done the right way, so the residents that want it dissolved can organize, they can petition the state legislature according to the statute. This is creating, and this is where it affects me, it's creating a legal exposure to our county. And of course, taxpayers are the ones who would pick up that legal exposure. You know, there's also some rumors about 2 pieces of property. I'm gonna put the rumors here on the record and state that they're only rumors. I don't have a dog in this hunt, but I wanna put it out there in the public record. There are rumors that have been going on for years about the ballpark. I came down here and moved down here 6 years ago, and I could not believe the hornet's nest. I left Hamilton County and I thought that I was leaving fraud and corruption, and all I did was jump right from the frying pan into the fryer here. So the rumors about the ballpark is that someone has control of it and had planned to run it as a nonprofit because they had been promised this. Now, I don't know if this is true, I'm just putting this in the record, that they had been promised this and were therefore not wanting the ballpark, not wanting the town to come back as a town because that gave them an in to perhaps continue to control the ballpark I need more coffee. And the profits from it. Apparently it's there, so keeping the town dissolved would allow this person to profit. I just heard Pat talk, the person who runs the senior center, and the rumors that I've heard is that over the years she was somehow promised, and I don't know Pat, I haven't met her. I
Her
just
name
seen her.
is Pam.
Oh,
Yes, thank you.
Pat, Pam, okay. Pam, got it. Sorry, I was one consonant off. And so what I've been told from being around here in town is that she was somehow promised this senior center. She seems to have a lot of, you're welcome to come up and talk after me. She seems to have, what I was told is that she has had somehow been promised this senior center years ago. She just used the exact words, "You stole it from us." Who is us? She seems to think that a lot of people are confused about the senior center and who owns it now. I mean, could I squat in the building and have it mowed a few times and, get a nice $300,000 or $400,000 piece of property like that? The fact of the matter is that both of these are assets that belong to the town of Hardinsburg and its taxpayers. And so it seems that this is not an eminent domain situation or adverse possession. Do you volunteer someplace for a few years and then you suddenly magically get the building? I would propose, not being a senior myself, that it would also be a community building because we have a very small senior population. I'd also like to publicly acknowledge that the person that's in control of the ballpark, Belinda, has been asking around about me to neighbors and friends, trying to figure out who I am. If you want to have a conversation with me, I'm all ears. We can have that conversation.
Direct your questions to the commissioner, please.
Yes, so the legal issue is here. The legal issue is here, and it's a legal issue, it's not an opinion issue. Todd Rokita said, according to the statute, Hardinsburg was created by an act of legislature, it has to be dissolved by an act of legislature. So to me, the proper thing to do is to rescind, take care of the taxpayers and the townspeople of Hardinsburg, and let them bring up their own leaders to run their own town as a board, just as it was done in the past. And I'd also like to make sure that I put out there that the money that was taken from the bank accounts needs to be restored. There was money in the bank accounts from what I was told.
Everything has been accounted for. Everything is in a private account. Everything went to your own, the town of Hardinsburg. The county has to use no part of your money. The only money that was used is to pay your expenses.
Well,
And
I
the state
hope
board
so.
of accounts, furthermore, does have strict jurisdiction over that.
Well, I'm sure that we will all love to see the spreadsheet, but I've been coming to these meetings for months, and what I've heard over and over again is that we couldn't get an emergency vehicle down the street because the county was not taking care of roots in a road, and they weren't taking care of the snow. We've had months of these reports coming forward, that people were literally in danger because people could not get their vehicles and get emergency vehicles down the road in those tiny streets in Hardinsburg. So, like I said, I'm just here to say my piece. I'm here to put rumors out on the record and to make sure that everybody knows what's going on because we don't need any, blah, 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 and back and forth. I want everything up and out on the record. And anybody that has a problem with me can come talk to me.
Thank you.
Y'all have any questions for me?
No.
All right.
We got one more back here, Ron. Put a little sugar on it, Ron, for us.
Good morning. I have two things that I would like to state on. One is, as a resident of Hardinsburg, which I do live outside of the town limits, I firmly believe that the town of Hardinsburg should be governed by itself, though the council and maintenance issues and things, because there's a gentleman in this room who called me to come do snow removal, which I don't do snow removal with my equipment. And I'm sorry that I didn't do that for him or wouldn't do it because I don't do it for anyone. But there are issues that the county is not providing the adequate service and things that's needed there. I fully believe that Hardinsburg should have its own governing body, its own maintenance department, and things to be dealt with in accordance by the people who want to take care of themselves.
My other issue is that I wanted to bring up is on county contracts. And the factor that as a small contractor here in the county, and most of the time, most of us don't even make the attempt to bid because God knows every single job in this county goes to the one and only big contractor here, who apparently must have his fingers in everybody's pockets or want to buddy up to them, okay? Small businesses deserve the exact same rights. It's actually in the state of Indiana's rules. Furthermore, I am legally disabled, okay? And there is, get the proper name, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program with the state of Indiana. Now I have 2 bids here for work to be done on Olive Branch and Garrison Hollow Road. No, I did not turn these in downstairs because my personal belief is that my bids would be filtered out and not presented before this board. Minorities, disabled, and veterans are supposed to have preferential choice over other contractors. I live in an economically blighted area. Hardensburg is economically blighted. All these weighing factors are things that are supposed to give a disadvantaged bidder a chance. Now we all know the one contractor in the county just got a nice bid where they were awarded that was $80,000 over another company that I've done work with that is a very good company. As a matter of fact, they do better quality work. As a matter of fact, as a small contractor, I've had to go back numerous times on different jobs that the big boy does, and pardon the expression, screws up. Quality over quantity. Some fairness would be really, really appreciated. I would love to have the opportunity, Tony, if I could, to give you these, and these bids be considered based solely on the merit of price. I know there is a process for turning the bids in, but as I said, I figured my bid would be filtered out before it ever reached here. There are people that deserve the work that they are bidding on. There are people that deserve the opportunity to be treated fair and just, not the good old boys going to get a few more million out of the county. My personal opinion of the display that went on at the last meeting by a business that would do that, and anyone that would support that business, is disgusting. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, I don't care. I go out and fight and work every day to make a living for my family. I want better opportunities. I have people that want jobs. But this is also a form of oppression on small business. And oppression is not what this country is about. So the good old boy system of give the big guy all the money, all the work and everything needs to be reviewed and stopped. As a matter of fact, as a disabled contractor, I'm actually protected under the rights of the affirmative action for fair treatment. So, Mr. Cardwell, I would love to hand these to you if I may.
They'll have to go down there to be considered.
Excuse me, what's your name, sir?
Ron Blackman.
Ron Black.
Right, must be presented. They are unopened or opened in a public meeting. They're not filtered. We've received 3 for each bid. By law, we can take it, but it's going to be excluded as unresponsive.
That's fine, I would still like to turn it in, that way it can be at least compared. But I figured it'd be filtered out before it got here.
I don't understand why you're saying it's being filtered out. I received these in my office, they are sealed, they are date stamped. So to imply that we are filtering them out, and I don't know who that's coming out.
No, it's right here, it's actually in your paperwork, okay?
I thought you just filtered them at the county commissioners meeting with a vote.
They're sealed bids.
I opened these in a public meeting. There's no getting taped.
Okay, well, it would take me a minute, but it does state in here that y'all have the right to reject any bids.
That's correct, that's the statute, yes.
Yep. And that's what I figured I would face before I ever got to this point.
It's never, nothing is open until the meeting, so there is no filtering going on. Regardless of what you've been told, that's not what happened.
She was insinuating I told you that wrong, did I tell you anything to say? Have I?
Correct.
I have or I haven't? Told me.
Say that.
Did I tell you that they filtered it?
No, you did not tell me.
Have I even
It's
talked to you?
in their
about that
paperwork.
stuff? That's what I'm saying, so it was not me.
No, Tony, you've been fair, straight, and honest with me about everything. Okay?
Was there somebody else out there?
Then you know that. She wants to speak about her, opinion.
Y'all ready for some good news?
Non-controversial news. I just want to let you know, I'm Denny Stokowski. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the EMA director. There's 2 things I wanted to tell you. First of all, we have the bids. The amounts go in for the tornado and subsequent flooding that hit Wheeler Hollow. And we did not have enough to meet the threshold. However, once they added in INDOT, they added in REMC and put that in, and we do qualify. So now I have some paperwork I have to do with Rick to get some stuff done for the county, but we are being considered for FEMA funding to reimburse all of the departments that were involved. So that's some good news. And secondly, the Washington County Community Foundation has given me a grant to get a thermal drone. A thermal drone, we have used thermal drones several times in the past, and one of the things we used a drone for, the state brought down a drone when we had the flooding. I couldn't get over to these homes that were underwater, but we were able to fly a drone over, and that was from the state. And so we can get an actual look at what the damage is as it's ongoing. The other thing that the drone was used for was we got a drone brought into us from Floyd County, a thermal drone, to look for a juvenile who jumped out of a vehicle. She had some issues, mental issues, jumped out of a moving vehicle and took off in the woods. 2 things was she was suicidal. The second thing was we didn't know if she got injured from the jump. We had to wait 45 minutes before we got the drone, but once we got the drone, it was, we were able to find her, and she was okay, and she was taken for treatment. The nice thing about the drone is it'll be used by all departments in the county, all emergency departments. So if there's a fire, instead of having the rekindles, we can have the fire department fly the drone over and look for hot spots and get those before they're rekindled. They can be used by the sheriff's department to look for missing persons, or it could be used by EMS if they need to find someone. Trying to find somebody in Delaney Park or on the Knobstone Trail. It could help us with that because it's thermal. And of course, I would use it for disasters. But I just wanted to let you know that we did get a word that it won't cost the county anything. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Nice, nice.
Anybody else?
part of the minutes where it says that, I failed to, get grass mowed and all that.
Second. All in favor, say aye. 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 Motion denied.
Say, I'm not understanding what you're asking now. Aye, nay.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the claims and payroll.
Second.
Yes, one question on one, the one that denied.
Yes, I did, thank you. With the exception of the, Murphy elevator bill
Okay.
repair, want to review that, everything else goes with the problem.
Okay.
It was for somewhere around $600.
Yep.
I did have one question, the electric bill, is that?
Do what?
The electric bill, is that?
That's normal.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, okay.
You got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
It's expensive. That's why we try to find money for the counties to operate on.
I'm just curious.
So that being said, you,
I second.
okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Kelly? And ask you to come in.
Yes, sir.
Ask you to come in. Last change in radio gear.
Yes, sir. Thank you again for seeing me, I appreciate it.
Yes.
Really not much to add, to the original quote. Thank you guys very much for giving me the go-ahead to replace our equipment, our outdated equipment. The 800s are also gonna be a necessity as well. Especially for outside agencies and agencies that don't necessarily belong to the county. I'm talking about DNR, ISP, those types of people like that. 800s, would be more cost effective as opposed to purchasing VHF radios for outside agencies as well, as it should have, customarily has done in the past. And moving forward, they already have 800s in their squads and their vehicles right now. The problem that we have, and the reason why this quote is here, is to add an interface to the radio right now, because right now, when you try to patch in the 800s to the VHF, the signal gets lost. And so there's first responders that could be assisting us in responding to emergencies, that they're not getting information and we can't communicate with them because of, again, our outdated equipment. That's just another thing to get everything up to where it needs to be.
So for the public, so they know, this is to connect you with like state police, conservation officers, et cetera, right?
That's correct, sir.
Yes, so, which wasn't in the original, quote, right?
Yes, sir.
So everybody's aware of that, so.
Yes.
Response time to, with the state police and the DNR, that way could, be very well expedited at that point.
The way that it goes right now, especially like with DNR and with the state police, and the issue is with state police, because it's not only from District 45 or people that come from Sellersburg, they cover each other's areas, so we can get people from Jasper or Vincent or wherever, that's gonna be coming in. They all use the 800s as well. And if we need assistance from them, we usually have to call a post or we have to call DNR, and then they have to contact them, and it's just, it creates too many middlemen. And, it's, when emergencies need to be addressed, it needs to be done in minutes, not tens of minutes.
So it's a life-saving piece of equipment.
It's vital, in my opinion.
Kelly, this is not over and above your last quote, which was, what, 50,000, this is.
60, it was 68.
Okay, 68, so this is just a revised version of your
Correct.
EMIS system.
That's right.
So it's not 68 plus 92, it's.
No, that's, that, if you look, I mean, and, yeah, you have the other ones. That's just in addition to, so it's not 68 what you approved me to go ahead with plus another 90, no, that's all that.
24 grand.
That's all in, that's 24,000 and above, yes.
Money will be coming out of public safety fund.
Correct, sir.
Right.
And then, I think you indicated at the last meeting that a lot of this equipment is not just a little old, but very, very old.
It's obsolete, yes, sir. We have stuff patched in together right now.
Alright, I'll make a motion to approve the, total of 92,236 to upgrade all this radio equipment for public safety.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Alright,
Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
Bid opening for Garrison Holland, Olive Branch.
Seal bids that have been date stamped. Keep it to myself, date stamped, get time stamped, this is for walls excavated. This is just for Garrison Hollow Road. Lump sum $93,600. Temple and Temple, received May 20th, 8:41 a.m., Garrison Hollow. Lump sum $58,400. KLB Excavating, Inc., May 19th, 9:50 a.m. $48,900. And those were all the bids received by the deadline of this morning at 9 a.m. The following bids are for Olive Branch Road. Walls Excavating received May 20th, 8:45 a.m. Lump sum $82,000. Temple and Temple received May 20th, 8:41 a.m. Lump sum for Olive Branch Road, $48,700. KLB Excavating, Inc., received May 19th at 9:50 a.m. Lump sum $46,500. No other bids.
make a motion to review all bids, consider all bids.
Second. Josh made a motion, Tony second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Second. Richards.
Morning.
Behind you, like me.
All right, I'm here today to talk about the dental and vision for the county. The renewal's coming up here on July 1st, and medical is in September 1st, but right now it's just the dental and vision. It is currently with Delta Dental. It was on a 2-year rate lock from last year when we renewed, so good news. We got another year before that contract's up, where it's locked in on pricing. And the same for the vision. The vision was a 4-year lock, and that expires next July. So everything's flat, everything's good. From the people I speak with the county, the members, it seems like Delta Dental and Delta Vision, who uses the DSP network, which is a very vast network on the vision side. It seems like everybody's been very happy with how all that has been going with that company, that carrier. It also, right now, on the voluntary life side of things, any employee that wants to purchase more life insurance, they have that ability to do that during this open enrollment process as well. So, and on the dental and vision side, that's 100% elective or voluntary. So that is no cost to the county. It's 100% on the employee to pay for dental and vision. With that, on the ancillary side, you can have spouses and children on that plan, as well as obviously the employee. So, yeah, just wanted to give you an update on the, you're in the 2-year lock period with that. On the dental, and vision will expire as well next year, so we'll see how that comes in and bid that out as well. Do you guys have any questions on any of that?
No, it's all good. Thank you for all your work. I know you work hard to keep our prices down.
Every time. Every time. As much as I can. Sometimes I can't, but
Thank you, Zach.
yep, thank you all.
All right, perfect, Rick.
As you know, Mother Nature's not been too friendly the last few weeks. We spent the weekend cleaning up trees and debris. Over the last month, we've started spraying and mowing the roadside. At the last meeting, we awarded Temple and Temple the community crossings bid. So I have some documents for you to sign for that. We've got our trucks switched over for summertime operations, got the plates in the beds. We'll begin paving with regular county paving, probably first part of June, can't say, first week of June, but as soon as we get ready. That's about all I've got going on. You all have any questions?
Thank you, Rick. Thank you. April?
Yep.
Okay. Let me stop you just a minute. Yeah. Stephanie, would you come forward? Sorry. Can I ask you a question? We've heard some things here this morning.
I don't like I'm not being prepared, so go ahead.
So, I heard some questions about we're not responding to the people of the town of Hardinsburg. And they've asked for postcards to be sent out and different things. And I know I'm probably speaking out of turn here. To resolve the situation, Mr. Cardwell for a year has been telling us that people of Hardinsburg wants it back. But I've heard something this morning about the people who don't want it back. I've heard from the state that says rescind it. I heard from you saying we can't rescind it. Before we get in the middle of something else again, what's going to happen if we rescind the motion?
The big question, can we do a referendum?
We can, there is a process for that. In my opinion, the best thing is to make a very educated, thorough, I know, when this first started, and I will go back, like Mr. Coots said, go back in time. When I first started with the county in March of 2018 as election voter deputy clerk, the calls started coming in about Hardinsburg. At the time, I had to educate myself, reach out to the election division, we didn't have, the clerk's office had a spreadsheet that basically had appointed town boards. And we kept that information as a courtesy based on if anybody called and wanted to know who their town president was or what have you. And then going further into investigating that, it was brought to my attention by the state that there are these little town boards. If they're operating and functioning great, it's not brought to anybody's attention. And then when they're not, that's when it's brought to the attention of the Indiana Election Division or the election administrator for the county. That continued on. So at the time, Rick Roberts was the commissioner for Posey, which that's where Hardinsburg is at. And so me and him kept getting calls about it. Fast forward into about 2020, 2021, we started getting calls again by different individual. So the next one, I think, was brought to your all's attention. You all seek counsel, because that's what we do as elected officials. We all have a governing body above us. We seek counsel. So my go-to always is the co-legal counsel for the Indiana Election Division, Matthew Kochever. Instead of hiring private counsel, we have counsel provided to us. And so we started working with them, and that's what brought us to the dissolving the governing body of the town. It's not like Walnut Grove where you go in and detonate the whole town and it's off the map. There's still Hardinsburg as a town. There's still signs. The U.S. Post Office still recognizes it. Their fire protection is based off a township. They still have Posey Township. They still have the county's sheriff's department. So it still is a town. It just doesn't currently, even at this point, have a governing body. That's what was dissolved. Because they did not hold elections. And when the lawsuit came into play, both attorneys came to my office and spent almost 5 hours and went through the very first election book all the way to the current election, and there was no record of an election being held. There was no ordinance that could be provided, any records that could be provided that they'd done any kind of government business. So you're asking me today, and again, I've reached out to Matthew Kochever many times along this way when talks were discussed. The town, and let me go back to some dates. So in 1893, it was an incorporated town, according to records. And then according to Matthew Kochever with Indian Election Division, in 1976, the General Assembly repealed all incorporations of towns because they were all in different, worded different, they were not streamlined. And so there was a repealed act in 1976. And then, it brings us up today, and I'm not saying they should never be a governing body of a town, but there's a process, and according to the Indian Election Division, once they were dissolved, they're dissolved, and they would need to reincorporate, which there's steps to that. In my personal opinion and the opinion of as election administrator for this county, there's a process. I'm looking at you all, you guys are elected. I'm elected. If they're going to become a governing body of a town again, then they need to do the steps that's required of that. And they would need to pass ordinances, they would have to pay for their first election because it's a municipality if they become incorporated again. And then there are steps that would have to be done for them to jump on the county election cycle. For instance, like the town of Campbellsburg and the town of Pekin has. So I think just rescinding at this point without really looking into it and giving them maybe a roadmap on what it takes to be reincorporated and function as a governing body, if the people in that 2 mile by 2 mile, what was the town, and I don't have my numbers in front of me. If I knew I was going to speak, I would have brought my box of records from that, but I believe there was only like 138 parcels. There was less than that registered voters. So when you're talking about doing something that's going to affect the townspeople, the town, the survey town was a 2 mile by 2 mile stretch. And so my thing is, have you asked those people that this decision is going to affect? If you haven't, I don't think it's good representation and a good educated decision to do that. Because again, if you rescind it, you're saying basically elections and doing the democratic process is mute, and you're putting them right back to where they were. So I don't know if we are going to be doing, that's my heart and soul. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into that since March of 2018, and I have until December 31st of 2028. So as far as when you're asking my opinion on elections and how it affects people, if they're going to be taxed, they have to have their legal representation and not just put back to where they were that started all this. Because to me, that's a waste of taxpaying dollars. That's my opinion as your elected election administrator.
Could you tell us real briefly how the referendum, the question would come? Because this seems to be the path we need to take, because we've got two sides. We got residents that don't want a town, we've got residents that do want a town. So the only way to solve it is this referendum. How would that look? When would be the soonest it could be done?
It's a petition process, And so, like, right now, in the state system, as far as the folks who were registered voters in the town of Hardinsburg, that has all been voided out. So I would have to ask petition the state to put those back in, or if we could pull who they were at the time. But it would have to be a petition process to be put on a referendum, and it has to be approved by the state for us to put that on the ballot. And we would actually only be able, we have to make a special ballot, and that would have to only go to those people. So for instance, at Posey precinct, we would have different style ballots depending on how the voter is flagged. Because literally the people who were of that town are the only ones who can vote on that referendum.
Just within the town itself.
Yes.
How soon could you get that moving?
Well, when I get back to the office, I can make a call to the state.
Which election? And
It would-
you said a special election, how much, and you need to find out how much.
I wouldn't recommend doing that special election because of the cost to the county.
You would or
I
wouldn't?
would not. For the amount of people who were registered to vote in that 2 mile by 2 mile section, the cost of the county, I'm basically putting on an election, having to certify the machines, having to pay Hart to come in and do all that. I would put the referendum on the next election, which is fastly approaching, believe it or not, 26. And again, I didn't know I was going to speak today, so I would have had all that information right here.
You come here.
Okay.
If I don't come to the meetings, and I can't make educated decisions for my office, if I don't know what's going on above me.
That'll teach you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Stephanie. Any good comments?
Yeah, I do have a comment. This has been a mess from the beginning. We all know that there's not very many people live in the town of Hardinsburg. We've got a few of these places all over the county. It's sad that these small towns have kind of gone by the wayside, but it's happening all over the United States, so we shouldn't be surprised. Things have changed. People just drive through them, and they're no longer homes to several hundred people like Hardinsburg was once upon a time. After listening to a couple, the Coots family, who I hold in very high regard. I respect their opinion. I've been hearing about this actually when I was on the council all the way back in 2015. Stephen started calling me, telling me there was not some good things going on in Hardinsburg because, well, as Councilman Ben Bowling once said, what those people had down there was taxation without representation because the council at the time they just weren't doing their job. They weren't communicating well with people in the community, so it's been a mess for a long time, and I really don't know what the answer is. I know the people down there are kind of getting shortchanged while we sit up here and bicker about it. So I want to get something done, but I do respect Mr. Coots and his advice on having, best way to do it is find out what the people think. But, you know, that's going to take time. But based on all this, I think there's still a lot of things we don't know. And I'm going to make a motion to table the ordinance at this time.
I'll second that.
I'd like to say something.
Go ahead.
So, believe this is the first time this has ever happened in the state of Indiana, something such as this, correct?
No.
Well, that actually got fought back, pushed back on, is what I'm being told. So basically, we set the precedence on what happened on something like this.
Yeah.
Is that not what you've been told also?
Well, they're not taxpayers.
Well, them are taxpayers too, right there. And right there, and them two right there lives in this, town limits, and I'm sure they got a different opinion from them. I get calls, pretty near on a daily basis about Hardinsburg, and I can guarantee you that the majority of the people of the town of Hardinsburg is for Hardinsburg being incorporated. Rick, Dave, would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah.
And even some that came at, during the original hearings or whatnot over Hardinsburg has actually flipped sides now. I've got calls from them. And back then you had a group, a couple different groups of families.
We asked, when we started, this whole thing started, we got thrown into this pot.
I understand.
We had those two special meetings, asking anybody if they step forward would accept the responsibility of running the town. Two special meetings.
I attended one when we had people attend that meeting too, and not actually volunteer. Did they not? We had people sat right up here and volunteer for it one time, because I was here at that one.
I never, did you volunteer?
Yeah. Myself and Chad Johnson both volunteered.
And Wayne Johnson.
And Wayne Johnson. And it's
Yeah,
on video.
This is being required to operate legally. That is what the request is. Legal operation of a representative government by the people that are directly affected. That is what is requested.
There's a motion on the floor to table this.
I second that. Go ahead, got anything else?
No, I believe that's all.
All fair side. Aye. Aye.
Yeah, vote. But I was told back here I couldn't vote on it anyway, so that's why I did vote.
Yes, I do have something to say, and it is about Hardinsburg. This has been going on way too long. I've been dealing with this since it started, and frankly, I'm just kind of sick of it. There's so many lies and misrepresentation out there. So I'm just gonna start off by saying that contrary to what you have been told by what I have been told, Tony Cardwell, the decision to dissolve the town of Hardinsburg was not taken lightly. The commissioners, Philip Marshall, Todd Ewan, and Rick Roberts had many conversations with state officials on what the options were to deal with the accusations the town board members had at that time. I sat through those meetings, and I sat through many phone calls and discussions and know what forethought and work went into this. They looked for any way possible to not have to make the decision to dissolve the town. The commissioners did not know there was an issue with the election board members until the clerk and Jay Davison requested a meeting on April of 2022, which is when all of this started. Many of you have no idea what all was involved in this decision, nor do you know how hard they worked trying to get the state off the board members' backs. This has not been an easy road for Commissioner Marshall, Ewan, or Roberts. And they have only wanted what was in the best interest of the citizens of this area. And for Tony Cardwell to spread lies that Rick Roberts single-handedly took down the town of Hardinsburg is asinine. I can assure you there was never any ill intent with this decision. One thing I'm sure most of you don't know is a political action committee was formed called the Hardinsburg PAC. Do you know who the members of the PAC are? Well, I can tell you, it's Dale Doan and Tony Cardwell. The very same Tony Cardwell that sits here trying to make you all think he's going to save you. This Hardinsburg TAC filed a lawsuit against the county, which then tied the county's hands from doing anything at all. Do you also know who is footing the bill for this lawsuit? Your county tax dollars. He has cost you thousands of dollars with this lawsuit. So if you want to complain and be mad at someone, maybe you should look at him. Because of him, the county's hands have been tied, and he has cost the county taxpayers an unneeded expense. I find it disgusting that all of the rumors and lies that were spread have made the citizens of this area so bitter, and not just toward their own county government, but even toward their own neighbors and friends. The fact that one individual can cause so much hatred is beyond disgusting. No one has ever tried to make things worse for Hardinsburg and its citizens. Those three commissioners I mentioned above have only tried to do what they were being told to do by the state and what they felt was in the best interest of the citizens. And no money has ever been misused.
Board comments or concerns?
I don't think she likes him.
Point that out.